And that's why I say go dogs. What's going on, everybody? This is the Coverbandconfidential podcast, the podcast of cover band musicians and band leaders to learn how to rock more and suck less. In Atlanta, Georgia, I'm Adam Johnson.
In Greensboro, North Carolina, I am Dan Ray.
Yeah, so we played a gig on Saturday, and it was lightly attended because it was opposite the Georgia game.
Oh.
And we were playing Texas, and by we, I mean they, because I don't sports.
No.
But my wife went there, and my son is thinking about going there, so I'm trying to get on board.
Sure.
Anywho, played this private 80s party, repeat customer, somebody we had been playing with since before the pandemic. They were actually the first gig we canceled when everything shut down. So yeah, it's our third or fourth time back. Other than that, it was great. But yeah, what's been going on with you?
You know, kind of all the same. We're heading into talking about getting back in the room and making some noise, getting the band back out of mothballs. So that's exciting. I'm also headed down to Orlando to do final testing on the app before we put that live. So that's exciting.
Is that projected, first of the year or?
First week of December.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's my anniversary.
Okay. 8th.
Yeah.
8th is what we're looking at.
Yeah. We'll be back by then. Ours is on the 1st. A week from then.
Beautiful.
Let's see. What do we got going on? So it's been a minute, but we've got back-to-back gigs coming up in a few weeks.
Holy moly.
Playing the 5th and the 6th.
Woof.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I feel like our schedule has been kind of weird this year. This was the first back-to-back weekends we've done in a while. And then, to have that already started, back-to-back on a weekend is pretty cool. And I think signed off our first private gig of 2026. I've been closing deals this week.
Cool.
It's been feeling good. Let's see, moving along. No housekeeping, no reviews, whatever. So I do want to get into the post-gig thing because we did a couple of new things at the last gig, and we started to do some other things on this one, and I just wanted to talk about them. First off, I feel like the Maestro DMX is finally dialed in. We used it this past gig, and it just I felt like it did better of a job than it has up to this point. Following along, it was the first time I feel like I've noticed the auto blackout feature where it just kind of senses that stuff has stopped and it just does it automatically. It was, I think, a feature in this most recent firmware update, but I guess based on whatever we've had going on, it didn't work that way, but it did this time, and it crushed. It looked really, really good.
Awesome. Did you get good video?
I got some POV stuff from the metas. Again, lightly attended. There weren't a lot of bodies in the room to shoot anyway. Actually, one of those is on TikTok right now. We were doing centerfold, and so I just posted POV. You're Jay Giles, even though Jay Giles is not the lead singer of the Jay Giles band. He's the guitar player. Right. Anywho, lighting was fun. Lighting was good. Everything was dialed in. Felt really great. The other thing that we brought back out is the monitor. So a while back, we had Tori from Black Box Prompters up here, and I had a monitor and a wedge laying around. So I was like, well, I can just use this as something that I can plug into Band Helper from my iPad. So basically, the iPad was extending its screen to that. Right. But with the reintroduction of AbleSet, it became pretty clear that whatever we were using for lyrics on certain songs, we don't really need that anymore. We don't need to have an iPad up there. We can move those, and have them to adjust our mix, and we can use AbleSet again. So then the solution was to figure out how to get a web browser on a vertically oriented monitor. That was a challenge to do with the iPad, but other computer type devices can do it. So I started scrounging around what I had laying about, and I went totally overkill with this. What I needed was something that could load a web browser.
Doesn't take a lot.
Yeah. What I ended up with was an M1 Mac Mini with, to do that specific job, it's way too much. Yeah. But, I was trying to figure out what to do. And it's I could buy a Raspberry Pi, but then I would have to buy one. Right. And I have this.
And a Raspberry Pi takes some setup, so it's not.
Yeah, it's a purchase and a job to do.
Right.
Whereas this, again, it's been sitting on my desk. I think I've mentioned it in multiple, past episodes. I've got this Mac Mini sitting here. I have no idea what to do with it. And then all of a sudden it hits you.
Yep.
So we set it up. I got the cheapest keyboard and mouse I could find. Target was like blowing them out. I got like a mechanical keyboard for like $7, which was pretty neat. It does all the like rainbow stuff and all the things I absolutely don't need it to do, but
for sure,
got them anyway. It was easy to get going, and it worked flawlessly. Again, it was like scary how good it just did the thing.
Cool.
No fuss, no nothing. I was debating on hardwiring it, and that might be something we do down the line. But otherwise, like we didn't have connectivity issues, and it did the thing. It was great.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that Wi-Fi would be impacted by crowd usage or whatever.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, fair.
It's the law of Murphy. If you've got a hardwire connection, you should probably use it.
You should use that. Yes.
Yeah. The funny thing is that I could have actually used a different Mac Mini that I had laying around. That's probably more in line. It's like an i3, but one of them had been wiped, the other one hadn't. And this of course struck me the night before.
Yeah. Like
it does. I couldn't have given myself an entire week to come up with this. No, I needed to do it in less than 24 hours because that's how my brain works.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Otherwise, I mean, the gig was fine. We ended up down a woman because MK's husband was having a birthday. So we went full tracks. And that was okay. It was a sweetheart deal from 2018. So, our full fee had not been discussed. So, anywho, based on the attendance, I'm not sure we'll get asked back again. And I don't think it's got anything to do with us. It's just, it was a weekend where a lot of stuff was going on.
Sure.
And, maybe older folks are into 80s and younger folks maybe aren't quite as much. There was definitely a couple in their late 50s, early 60s that were having a blast. But nobody else matched their enthusiasm.
Well,
so it might just be time.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, one of the things that I've had happen a few times is I'm not a follower of sports in particular. God bless, but it's just not my thing. But I show up for a gig and people are like, "Oh, the game. Oh, we're in trouble because the game's happening." That the game. I don't know the game, but I trust that they know that there's a game happening. It'd be smart for me to have some awareness of those things. And I don't know how I would do that without becoming a full sports person, which I'm not going to do. But it has impacted me before. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about how you'd be sensitive to that without having to commit to a lifestyle?
This is where I think the community is important. Because you could just be like, is there anything big going on Saturday? As opposed to just like having to like do all that work yourself. Like you could probably just like ask people around you. They probably could tell you without too much work. I mean, if you have the luxury of having, actual friends where you can talk to them, you don't have to go to like ChatGPT and see what, check there.
Yeah.
One time I had a car that was just not in great shape. It was the post-college, decent job era. And at some point, the buttons on my radio just stopped working. Ooh. And it landed on AM 680, The Fan. And so for about 3 or 4 months, I listened to nothing but sports talk radio, just to and from work. And, frankly, it wasn't that bad. It was actually kind of nice to like be able to have meaningful conversations with any man I, came across. Regardless of age.
Didn't have to talk about that ludicrous display last night.
Yeah, did you see the ludicrous display last night?
That's right.
The thing about Arsenal is they're always trying to walk it in.
That's right.
That's a very inside joke. I said that joke at Amber's holiday Christmas party in York, and nobody knew what I was talking about.
Really?
And I was like, I have flown too close to the sun.
That is disappointing.
When I am too British for the British people, that's too much.
Yeah.
Too darn much. Okay. I think we've covered all of the pertinent stuff.
Okay.
You guys, if you're the people who scroll or hit the 15-second or 30-second button, this is where you can pause, you can stop. We're actually going to talk about the thing.
We're going in.
And this is one of those rare weeks, and it's not even a week. Both of these happened basically today,
Right.
Which is Monday. There were just a couple of zeitgeisty things that have popped up that I just feel like are right in our wheelhouse. Good timing, I suppose. There's always those news podcasts where they're talking about a particular subject and then that person dies like 5 minutes after they finish recording or whatever. Not today. The podcasting gods are favor upon us. So do you want to talk about the tour thing or the gear thing?
Start with the tour thing.
Okay. This is a fascinating topic, and I feel like this is something that we have theorized in previous episodes.
We have.
But something happened today that has literally never happened. This is an unprecedented, first of its kind concert tour announcement. So today, Lynyrd Skynyrd and Foreigner announced their 2026 tour.
Okay, but who did?
Well, the band, the musicians consisting of
corporate entity,
Lynyrd Skynyrd and Foreigner.
Yeah.
What we're getting at is this is potentially the first major headline, or in this case, co-headline tour.
Yeah.
With two bands with zero original members.
Right.
And it's a wild,
it's crazy
concept.
Yeah.
So for those of you kind of not familiar with the scenario, Lynyrd Skynyrd's been around since the 60s, and their last founding member, if you count somebody who had been in from the beginning all the way up, was Gary Rossington, who passed away in 2023.
Yep.
Now, I remember probably the late 90s, there was, after the plane crash in 77, there was an agreement made with the estates of all of these folks, and we'll get back to that in a second, where a certain number of original members had to be in the group in order for it to be able to go out on the road as Lynyrd Skynyrd. And when their bassist, Leon Wilkeson, got sick and came off the road, there was some talk about that being amended, and it looks like it was, because shortly thereafter, he was out, and they just kind of kept on rolling. Ever since 2023, though, there's been no original members in Lynyrd Skynyrd. Some people are like, well, Ricky Medlock was in the band from 1970 to 1971. It's yeah, but he didn't write any of the stuff that's in their epic back catalog.
Right.
He was a guy, in the periph that, played some gigs with them, but wasn't really contributing creatively. So, and then didn't come back to the band until 1996. So doesn't really count. But they were the first kind of well, I actually take that back. They weren't the first, because the other band that was probably first was Foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
So the deal with Foreigner is that Mick Jones was the last remaining original member. Lou Gramm left and all the other guys left. And then around the mid-2010s, he stopped doing full shows. He would come out for a couple of tunes. Maybe he didn't come out at all. It was kind of you didn't know what you were going to get. And everybody else was just guys that they had picked up along the way. I think I've seen 2 or 3 Foreigner shows where there were no original members.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, they were great shows.
Sure.
It's not like, these guys are now hiring slouches. You got Jeff Pilson, you've got these unbelievable musicians, but it's I was joking. I was it's the Ship of Theseus tour.
It is. Or we've talked about the sort of designated tribute.
Right.
The band that the original band has said, these are our official tribute. And that's essentially what this is.
Yeah, but to my knowledge, I feel like Queen is the only band who's actually done that.
Right. Well, except for these, who are blessing them with their own brand.
Right. But it's not like a thing where the band is endorsing the tour in that way.
There's no band anymore.
Right. So it gets into this very sticky conversation about what is a band.
Yeah.
Because what you have is you've got this entity, this conglomerate, this corporation with intellectual property that they are trying to continue to generate revenue. And in order to do that, some stuff's got to happen.
Yeah.
One of them is that you have to go out and play these sheds every summer.
There have to be shows.
And so what you end up with is you end up with a collection of the estates of these people.
Yeah.
Who are going, my spouse was the drummer in this group and contributed his heart and soul into their creative output, but now he's not here. And we kind of want to have that money.
Right.
So we've got to make some compromises here and figure out what is and isn't acceptable.
Yep.
It's really strange, and I know that in the rock world, this is like unheard of. Now, never mind that, the Four Tops and groups like that have been doing this for forever.
Yeah.
And if you think about Count Basie's band or Duke Ellington's band, it's the same kind of deal. Like, you've got folks that have been playing in these groups longer than the original members have in a lot of circumstances. And so they have a right to be there, but it's a very strange prospect. Personally, what do you feel about it, Dan?
You have to separate the entertainment from the kind of integrity of it. Is it those bands? No. Is it those people? No. Are they handpicked? Maybe. It's interesting to me because some bands can get away with this, others cannot. The bands that are very closely tied to performers' personalities or identities, the Stones won't be able to go on once the original members are gone. I don't see any world where some replacement for Mick Jagger is acceptable to the audience.
Yeah, well, I feel like there's certain entities that just can't be like replaced. But again, that it varies from group to group.
Yeah. Crucially, because I never knew the names of anybody in Foreigner. I did know the names of the people in Skinner, but in my opinion, they died in the plane crash. So after that, it's all tribute. But if it's well done tribute, I'd enjoy it.
Yeah. And it's like, some people would, you can't replace Freddie Mercury.
You can't.
But there are guys out there doing Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Doing very well. And you've got...
There is a band touring as Queen.
Yep. And it's Queen featuring Adam Lambert. And before that, it was Queen featuring Paul Rogers.
Right.
They did something different. It's like, well, we have these core guys, and we are going to bring somebody in, but they're not trying to replicate. Yeah. That's the difference. Is that they are trying to do something and kind of let whoever is fronting the band put their own flavor on it.
Right. With respect, to the original, but it's different.
And yet it's not, but it is.
Crucially.
Isn't that something?
It is.
It's tough.
Yeah.
The other thing about this is that this isn't, right now, this is an anomaly. This is like, it's podcast worthy content.
Yep.
Or at least a topic. But this is just the first. It's not the last. This is basically a vision of things to come. Because if we want to hear certain songs played by certain bands, we've got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because there's a finite amount of time that people can contribute.
Definitely.
To these things.
My nominal favorite band, lifetime favorite band, Pink Floyd, tours, but it's just Gilmour.
Yeah.
It's a band that Gilmour has put up around himself. And I've seen it, and it's great. And I've also seen Waters doing what the band he stood up around himself that he's not calling Pink Floyd. And it's also great. It's actually, oh my God, I'm going to say it. It's greater. But, yeah. But it's not those four guys.
Yep.
It's not those four dudes in the ruins of Pompeii.
Right.
Just tearing it down.
Yeah. There's a period of time where it was like Gilmour and the rest of Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And then they kind of slowly peeled off, and I think Nick Mason was the last one.
Nick Mason and Rick Wright both. Rick Wright died. I think Mason must have died too.
Yeah, I think maybe.
Yeah, and Gilmour and Waters are never going to perform together again.
There's no need for them to.
It happened once, and it was amazing, and it's never going to happen again.
Yeah,
but it's a great show. They both put on great shows.
Yeah, but it still kind of comes to the point of when one of those guys dies, you can't tour as David Gilmour.
Nope.
If David Gilmour's not there.
Right.
And the same with Roger Waters.
Right.
So ultimately, whether this works or not is down to the consumer.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, if the audience accepts it, then it works.
Because for the record, we're paying full price for this Skinnerd and Foreigner show. It's not like you get a discount.
Right.
It's the same cost as every other ticket for every other show at that venue.
Skinnerd Survivors.
Yeah. It is it's the according to them, the full fat version of the group.
Yeah.
So that's where the rubber meets the road, really, is whether or not you feel like that's worth your money. And if it is, then, they'll keep doing it. And if it isn't, then they'll figure something else out.
Right. And for a cover band person, it should be understood as the highest level of tribute. To be in that band, I went to the Roger Waters show that came through town, and I watched the guitarist there cop every note of
David
Gilmour. Yeah, thank you. Perfectly. Mm-hmm. He was Gilmour.
Yep.
But he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to understand the oddity of that. I'm paying for a show that is for a band that I love, but it's not the guy. But he's doing the thing the guy does, but it's not the guy. So do I care? Is the fact of the guy being on stage what I'm paying for? I don't know.
Or is it the way that experience makes you feel? Ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, are they related? I saw Fleetwood Mac came through that same venue here in town, and it was the original lineup. It was when they were all together.
Yep.
And there was something about that. There was actually something about that. It kind of mattered.
But if they decided to go on the road without Christine McVie, would you go?
Well, her in particular, yes. But if other members, no, maybe not.
You have John McVie. I mean, he can come and go as he pleases.
He's critical.
It's tough.
How dare you?
Hey, they did an entire, they did multiple tours without Lindsey Buckingham.
Well, no, but listen. Okay. Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you. But John.
You're getting mad.
I am.
This is too hot for TV.
It is. Yeah. It's just a really interesting concept because touring as a brand is a different thing from being connected to the people who originated that brand.
Yeah.
And you just got to know what you're going to and appreciate that they're professionals. They're going to put on a great show. It's going to sound like what it sounded like on the radio. So maybe that's all you care about.
Yeah. And for a lot of folks, it is. It's just like, I want to go to this concert and feel like I felt in high school when I was listening to these songs.
Right.
And I don't care who's on stage.
Right.
There's other people who are like, I don't like change, and it's got to be exactly the way I remember it, or it's terrible.
Yeah.
I need this 68-year-old man to sound exactly like he sounded when he was 23, and if he isn't, I'm still gonna go, but I'm gonna complain about it.
Well,
on
listen,
the internet.
Stevie Nicks was dropping fifths and dropping octaves and stuff the whole show, and it was. I mean, you're aware, but you also get it.
Yeah.
But it's Stevie. There she is. That's her. And I'm in the same room with her, and that means something to me.
Right. Unless it doesn't. The way that I look at this is that this is a massive opportunity. Specifically for Lynyrd Skynyrd tribute bands and Foreigner tribute bands.
Yeah.
Because now you could follow that tour if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And pack out a venue and charge a third of the price and still walk away with a ton of money.
Say we're just as good as the real band.
We are just as authentic as
right. That's right. Yeah.
The exact equal number of original members.
That's right. 0.
So you might as well save a few bucks.
Why not?
So any of you guys in Street Survivors or Freebird or Give Me Back My Bullets or whatever your Skinner tribute is called, find the Double Visions and the Hot Bloodeds and the Jukebox Heroes.
That's right.
In your market.
Give Me 3 Stepses.
Yeah, and just and lock arms.
Darn right.
Because you got some shows to book.
Yep.
And I think that's actually the move. Honestly, I feel like I think that anybody who's in a tribute band where there's danger of the band coming off the road, that's probably it.
Yeah.
I mean, tribute bands exist specifically for that reason. Like the tribute band kind of came around. It was around Kiss because Kiss took the makeup off and people wanted to see the makeup show. So bands started going and doing that show.
Right.
And then they came back and did the makeup again. And I don't know how Kiss tributes are doing right now. It feels like it might be, one of those things that might be timing itself out.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Who knows?
But if you've got a particular take on this, I'd love to hear it. I made a video about this on TikTok. It's currently doing numbers. Not so much on the other platforms, but specifically, people seem to feel a way about it on that platform. But let us know. Leave a comment on this if you're watching on YouTube, or shoot us an email, coverbandconfidential@gmail.com. So many layers to this.
It's unpackable in a profound way.
Yeah. But you know what is packable? This next topic. Now, this isn't really a topic. This is just a thing that Dan found that I just wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So why don't you tee it up?
Well, it turns out that your friend and mine, former Eagle Joe Walsh.
Current Eagle. On again and off again Eagle.
We need to touch on that compared to our last thing we just talked about. Yes, current Eagle. Let's call him current Eagle. I first saw him live ever when I saw the Ringo Starr and the All-Star Band playing, which he was a member of. And that was super fun. It was a really great show. I really loved that. But Joe Walsh is selling some stuff at auction. And when I say I mean like a whole lot of stuff, like lots and lots and lots of guitars and clothes and amps and furniture. And he is clearing house. The guy clearly is downsizing. I hope this means that he's healthily moving into the next phase of his life. That's my hope about this. I always get a little worried when vintage performers are doing this kind of thing, but here he is. He's up on an auction site, which we'll drop the link in the show notes. Yeah,
it's Julian's auction.
Julian's auction,
house, yeah.
And they've done a bunch of things for celebrities who are doing this sort of thing. You said a good thing about this, which is it's a crazy combination of like really high end and super dirt end stuff.
Yeah. That was really interesting is that like I looked through it and it's hundreds of listings. It's not just like a handful of things.
Ridiculous.
And as you're kind of scrolling maybe towards the top, you're like, wow, I don't know if I would get rid of it. And then you get in the middle and you're like, oh yeah, the guy has too many guitars. Like how many 3 single coil pickup Strats do you need? There's at least 20 of them in this auction.
Have to be.
From all different companies, and there's so much.
These Tellys, all these Gretches, all these hollow bodies, just a massive amount of guitars. And what that means is the ones that are stage used, video used, they're a little pricey. They've got the famous person stink on them. Right. But when we get into sort of our picks about this, there are a couple that I picked that are like, I'd play that at a gig. Yeah. It doesn't matter to me that, who owned it. Yeah. But it's a cool story to say Joe Walsh owned this. I bought this from Joe Walsh. Yeah. But it's just a good guitar for kind of a used guitar price. Right. Currently. Here's the thing. There is an estimate of what it would go for, and then there's the current bid. And that current bid could as we're watching this, it's going up. So we're catching this sort of mid-story. But as we're looking at it, there's some things that are, I don't know. We'll talk about it in a second when we get through my favorites out of the list. But there's some things that I might bid on.
So what I had said is that if you like super weird guitars, very specific pieces of gear, and or you wear the same size as Joe Walsh, like there are some bargains in there. Yeah. Because I was scrolling through and I saw there were a bunch of Mesa Boogie cabinets for like a couple $100. Yeah. And if you go into a lot of these, you can check whether the reserve's been met. The reserves on these are, a lot of them are super reasonable. I would say arguably on the low end. Yeah. So if there's a very like specific kind of thing that you're looking for, I would keep an eye out because you may just get away with it. Yeah. Because some things are just not interesting to everybody.
Yeah. I think of the song Life's Been Good to Me, which is sort of being a rock star, sort of 10% sucks, but what kind of asshole would I be if I complained about it? That's sort of the sense of that song. He was talking about himself, clearly. And I look at all this stuff, and it's clearly sort of a hoarder mentality around the things that he could accrue as a famous rich person. And now all of that's like, let's just get rid of it. And I don't really care about how, like, the money I would get. Yeah. This is kind of the sense of where the minimums are set for these things.
Yeah, I mean, what it felt like to me, and mostly it's because there's no through line to any of it.
No.
Every guitar company you've ever
It's
seen
complete
is in
chaos.
there.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you it's just that thing where like he would show up to a thing and somebody would give him a free guitar and he would be like, cool. And he would either play it or not play it. And he would go somewhere else and they'd be like, here's this practice amp. You can play it on the road. Cool. And he just takes it with him. It just seems like the meanderings of a famous guitar player just getting stuff thrown at him.
Yeah.
And while there's a lot of like high-end, super cool and esoteric things, there was, I counted at least a handful of Squires, a bunch of import stuff like cheap gear.
Parts casters.
A crate power block.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
The way that I looked at it, was like, it didn't seem like this is one of those kind of regular cash grabs. It looks like this guy like walked into a warehouse and he's like, oh my God, I've got to do something.
Got to do something about this. Yeah. 100%.
There's also 2 cars in there. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
There's a McLaren and a Mustang GT500.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad.
But yeah, all kinds of stuff. So
my Maserati does 185. I don't know if you're aware.
There was not one in there though.
No.
So, maybe he held on to that. He's not getting rid of everything, just things he doesn't need.
I think. Well, he doesn't need it. He lost his license. Now he can't drive it.
Yeah. So what we opted to do is go through this list, and did you count like the total number of listings? It's
massive.
It's got to be over 100.
I mean, you scroll down and the page is like loading.
Just reloads.
It's just so far. It's incredible.
So either way, we looked through everything and came up with our favorite picks. It looks like I got 4 and you've got 5.
5, but the third and fourth one are of the same category.
Kind of like overlap. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my first pick is a Viagra leather jacket,
it's amazing.
which it seems exactly like
so
something
beautiful.
Joe Walsh would wear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's a NASCAR jacket. I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the driver, but there was a period of time where Viagra had a car and some dude drove it. And so he's got a Viagra leather jacket, and I can't think of a more on brand piece of wardrobe.
For sure.
Not to say, but there's a lot of I saw Dolce & Gabbana and John Varvatos and Gucci and Versace and all like.
If you're the same size as Joe Walsh, this is a deal.
Yeah, you're about to look real fancy. Mm-hmm. What do you have? What's next?
All right, my first thing was a Steve Klein SKH-07 electric harp guitar.
Yes.
I've never seen anything like this. I've never encountered, and I Googled it and found people playing it. I guess they had it tuned to specific notes for the song they were playing so that they could pluck in a bass note. It's a bonkers looking thing. You just got to look at it. It's crazy.
So for context, if you remember the guitar that James Iha is playing in the Tonight Tonight video, he plays a Gibson harp guitar. And that's, I think, what most people would see in their mind's eye when you say the word harp guitar, if you didn't say the word Steve Klein in front of it. And for the record, there's 2 Kleins in this auction. And Steve Klein Klein guitars are very famous for these super ergonomic shapes.
Yes.
So if you think about the way that a Strandberg looks, that is a contemporary take on what Klein guitars were in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And this one, so it's basically like a cubist version of that James Iha guitar. It's very Bauhaus.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's 2 of those, and I know about Klein guitars because most of them were headless, so that's kind of in my lane. And there's a couple of companies that make kind of a riff on that design. And I've seen Alan Holdsworth had one with like two guitar necks, and one of them was kind of like more vertical, and he could do that whatever that Alan Holdsworth stuff he did. But Kleins are super cool guitars, and I was stoked to see that there were a couple in there, but it's astronomical, like prohibitively expensive.
Right.
They're basically art pieces that you can play Smoke on the Water on.
Right. The current bid on that is $2,000. The estimate that it'll close at is $4,000 to $6,000. So
I think that's on the low end, frankly.
Wow.
All right.
I'll be eager to watch it.
Yeah. So next up, this is just one that I gravitated toward because it was one of those guitars that I like obsessed over when I was in college in like my just the height of my pop punk dreams. It was a 2003 Fender Special Edition Esquire with the Scorpion inlay. So this was a line that came out in the early 2000s, where it was just a single humbucking pickup on a Telecaster, but it was all painted one color, set neck. Some of them had racing stripes. There was a blue one with white racing stripes that I wanted so bad. And then this was the other one, was the all black with the Scorpion inlay.
That inlay's gorgeous. I'll be honest.
It's a rad looking guitar. If it's very much in the line of the kind of Tom DeLonge, just riff stick kind of setup. And it's funny because the other one that stood out to me is a very similar instrument made by a different company for a different guitar player. But this wasn't just like something that he had in his collection. It's a stage played guitar.
Yep.
I think these are slept on. Let's take a look at what they're going for on Reverb. I don't think they're highly sought after, but I could be wrong. Let's see here. So looking at these on Reverb, they're start around like $550. That's kind of the going rate for some of these. I see my racing stripe one.
How much?
The cheapest one I see in blue is $799.
Why are you not buying it right now?
We're in the it's the Christmas window.
Oh,
can't buy nothing.
Sure.
At the moment though, this is the current bid is $1,250. So it was it's going way over. You're getting the Rockstar deal on that.
Yeah.
But it is mostly because it's stage played. That's a providence that a lot of collectors are looking for.
Yes.
And that's a pretty cheap price to get in on something, that a guy like Joe Walsh has played,
Yep.
All right, you're up.
Okay. Vintage suede flare
I saw these.
pants. Here's the first question you got to ask yourself. Do I want Joe Walsh's pants?
Yep. And then more specifically, do you want Joe Walsh's leather pants?
Suede pants. Yes, this is a gut check. This is you have to really check in with yourself and understand your answer to that question. But they are, let's take it out of it. Let's imagine they're brand new.
Sure.
They're amazing.
Yeah, calling these flares is kind of that feels not like the right.
They have these floral appliques, sort of.
These are bell bottoms. These are like
they're bell bottoms,
big old honking.
But it's not just that. They got like floral, embroidery from the knee to the calf. Like down the calf. They're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. If you were gonna do a classic rock, anything, these would be the pants you'd wear.
1,000%.
Yeah. No size. They have no size present on them.
Which means that you are just rolling the dice.
The description is a pair of vintage brown suede flare pants with a black and magenta leather flower motif on the bottom of each pant leg. Labeled Santa Fe Leather Company, Santa Fe, New Mexico. No size present. So you're on your own. You're on your own.
Yeah.
You better hope you're the same size as Joe Walsh.
Yeah. They're currently going for $600. The reserve is met, and that is on the high end of the estimate. So, I mean, you could roll the dice on this. Maybe you end up with the leather pants of your dreams.
And Joe Walsh wore them, or owned them.
Yeah.
So if they don't fit you, you can mount them behind glass and have it be a museum piece.
Yes. So it's actually funny that you picked this because my next pick is very similar in that the gut check thing.
Yes.
Because not only do you have to ask the question, do I want Joe Walsh's pants? But one of the things that they're auctioning off is a pair of Joe Walsh's custom in-ear monitors.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with those?
You're gonna mount them behind glass. That's what's gonna happen.
The amount. I feel like the potential risk of DNA on both of these is equal and gross in very different ways.
Way high. Well, yeah, I'm really not sure I want either of these things.
Because as a person who has worn in-ear monitors, I'm wearing them right now. Ugh.
Yeah.
I barely want to touch mine.
I know.
Let alone somebody else's.
Right.
I don't care what band they play in.
Right.
And they're not cheap. I think they're going. The last time I checked, they were like $300. So you're basically buying something that you can't use, that is frankly kind of icky.
Yeah.
No thanks.
No.
But somebody will buy them. Somebody will buy them.
I mean, there are offers in.
Yeah. Ugh. Anyway, you're up.
Okay.
I wash my mouth off with soap.
Yeah. So listen, I filtered it by guitars, and I went low to high on current on the estimate. Mm-hmm. The two lowest ones were a Gretsch Streamliner in gold metallic. It's a hollow body gold metallic. I'm a sucker for a sparkly guitar. I absolutely love those. It's great. A Gretsch Streamliner is a great guitar. The next one was a Gretsch Double Jet, which is a solid body. It's chambered, but it's a solid body guitar in Midnight Sapphire, this gorgeous dark blue. Both of them are estimated to land at $400 to $600. The Streamliner's at $350 right now. The Double Jet's at $400, which is a great price for these used Gretsch guitars.
Yeah.
Great price. I don't care who used to own it.
Exactly.
Walk into Music Go Round, which is a store in my town.
Yep.
And you'll
secondhand store.
Yeah. You'll find things hanging on the wall that are like that. And so to be able to say, and I would buy either of those.
Yep.
I play them as my daily drivers. And to be able to say this guitar was owned by Joe Walsh is like so much value.
Yeah.
On top of what they're probably going to go for. I was shocked at how many guitars were on there that I would totally play out. I would play them every day. The fact that they're Joe Walsh seconds, it's a bonus value. Now, we're in the middle of the auction. Who knows where they're going to land?
Yeah, we got 28 days.
For sure. They may go way high, and I'm sure our endorsement is going to really spike the value dramatically.
Yeah, we have that kind of sway.
100%. But it's shocking that, there's some things that were stage played or played in videos that the expectation is they'll pull some money. But guy had some guitars that he's just ditching. And they're going to make some people happy.
Mm-hmm. So in my kind of journey through this, you went from price low to high.
Yeah.
I went from interest low to high. And that's where I found some of my faves. My last one and my next one is another one of these like single pickup riff sticks. This is a stage played Music Man Benji Madden signature.
Wow.
Which was a thing back in the early 2000s. It's in that same era as the Set Neck Esquire, where these pop punk bands were popping up, pardon the pun, and apparently the alliteration. And and so these companies were cranking these things out. And again, this is not just some whatever. There's the second picture in this listing is him playing this sucker.
Yeah.
On stage with the freaking Eagles.
We'll get back to that in a second, but yes. And the estimate
$900.
Top end is $1,200.
Yeah, $900.
Yeah.
That's killer.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's a guitar for a very specific kind of player. It's got a very specific aesthetic. And I've been thinking about these guitars recently just because I remember them being kind of a thing. Their other guitar player had like an SE Paul Reed Smith that was very gothy.
Yeah.
That was kind of neat. And these guitars kind of like fell in and out of favor. They're still Ernie balls. I guarantee they're phenomenal guitars.
Yeah, for sure.
And at this point, you can get a killer deal on one if you're into it. All right, your last pick.
My last pick, 1993 Party of Two Tour stage-worn bomber jacket.
Dude, there are some badass jackets in this thing.
There are. This one is imagine a bomber jacket with a map of the Earth printed on it. And the second photo is why I picked this, because in the second photo, it's Joe Walsh wearing that with like a weird, goofy big hat and like Groucho glasses with the nose and the mustache. And it's the goofiest damn thing you've ever seen.
Playing a Gretsch Tennessee Gentleman, no less.
That's true. Yes. Quite a guitar for quite a jacket.
The second best photo in here is of the label that just is a clip of the map, and it just says, "Where in the world?"
Where in the world?
Not wearing, but wherein. Where in the world? Like,
and
where?
it's centered on like Strasbourg. Is like the center of the picture. And it's adult XXL.
Yeah, 44. Which again, 44 is not a double XL.
No.
These are clearly. Oh, so this is from '93. So those are like 80s sizes.
80s sizes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Asian sizes.
Yeah, or like Walmart sizes in the opposite way.
Right.
But yeah, there's quite a few of these really interesting outfits. There's in the cover of the actual auction itself, there's a suit, a brick suit.
Yes, they wore at the Hall of Fame induction, right?
Yep.
There's a pair of shoes that I saw that were great. At size 10, I'm like 3 sizes too big for that. But
were those the cartoon shoes?
No, they were like wingtips, but they had they were black with like blue. I've lost them now. There's so many things in this. It's just impossible to.
If you like vintage T-shirts, you're gonna love this.
Yeah. The name, of course, of this whole auction is Life's Been
Good to Me.
Yeah.
If you haven't done it by the time you get to this, I highly recommend just scrolling through it. It is a hoot and a half.
It's amazing,
as my mom would say.
Yeah.
So go check it out and let us know your favorite picks. Once again, leave those in the comments. Email us coverbandconfidential@gmail.com. If you end up putting in a bid and win something, I definitely want to hear from you.
We've got to know. Yeah.
So maybe I can justify finding like the cheapest thing. I bought the cheapest thing in Joe Walsh's auction. Does it hold up?
That's right.
Kind of videos.
Yeah. There was one item that was backstage passes for a bunch of his shows.
Yeah. There's some super fun stuff.
Yeah.
There's also like some really nice like mid-century modern furniture.
Yes.
They're very proud of that stuff.
Yes.
But regardless, just go check it out and let us know what you think. That's it. That's the show.
Enjoy.
This is a fun one. Nothing too serial. Just esoteric ramblings.
Just our stuff.
Two know-it-alls.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in, folks. Couldn't do it without you. Wouldn't want to if we had to. If you want to support the show, you can do a number of things, but I'll go ahead and call it for this week. In Atlanta, Georgia, I am Adam Johnson.
In Greensboro, North Carolina, I'm Dan Ray.
You have been listening to the Coverband Confidential podcast for the week of November 21st, 2025.